Hello, internauts. Greg from Code Enigma here. Just thought I'd give you people a quick look around the Code Enigma hosting services. So, if you are a hosting customer of Code Enigma, the first thing you can expect is that we will keep all of your code in our central infrastructure server. We will store your infrastructure as code using Ansible. We have a product called CE Provision, which is free and open source. It's in GitLab.com. You can go and have a look. And each one of your servers or clusters or whatever will have a set of playbooks, which will determine what things get installed on your machines. Each one will have a set of variables that is unique to it, where you can do things like set what its PHP version is, FPM settings, what version of Linux it's built upon, all that kind of good stuff. And that's all stored in code. We're big GitLab users. We use GitLab Community Edition a lot, which is what this is. And one of the nice things about doing this, actually storing this information in code in the Git repository like this, is that we can actually have quite stringent peer review processes. So whenever there are changes, they go through a test branch and then an apply branch, and they have to be signed off by a colleague. So every change like this will then be passed off to somebody else in the systems team other than the person that made it, so that they can actually approve that. And then, of course, we have automated pipelines, which we have for building the infrastructure. They're all just linting jobs, but there we can see we built our main production server there. And that is basically building an auto-scaling group in AWS, all with Ansible. So the build output is quite pretty. It looks good. So yeah, that all hangs together very nicely. A mixture of Ansible and GitLab for infrastructure management. This supports Debian and Ubuntu, by the way, at the moment. So moving on, as a customer, you will automatically get one of these, your own GitLab server where you can keep your code. So this is ours. We have a few things in here. I was just looking at our website. We've got Mautic, we've got Matomo. Mautic is a marketing tool, by the way, automated marketing, and Matomo is a sort of open source Google Analytics replacement, so we can host both of those easily enough. In here, we have a very similar look and feel going on. I mean, this is actually our Drupal application, so we have Drupal in here. But if you look in this deploy directory, we're actually using another Code Enigma tool, which is CE Deploy, again, open source on GitLab.com. You can go and have a look. It has a very similar pattern to CE Provision, but this is for deploying applications, whereas CE Provision is for deploying infrastructure. And this one here, we still have playbooks, but this time we have playbooks for local deployment. We have playbooks for each one of our different environments as well, dev, stage, and live. And just like we had with CE Provision, we have variables that vary between different build types. So this is a dev build, so it's got a different build type. It's got maybe some different cron settings because it's got different URL, so on and so forth. So we've got this concept of common settings, but then also other settings. You don't have to use this stuff. GitLab CE will be there for you anyway. But we find that everything ties nicely together if you use the whole system. And again, you have that nice kind of feel to it, where you've got the same kind of pipeline experience, no matter where you're working, whether you're working in the system side or if you're working in the development side. So moving on from the web hosting, the code hosting. So you've got your own GitLab. On that same server, you will have your own Prometheus. So this is basically monitoring. As you can see, we've got a whole bunch of things that we're monitoring all of the time. At the moment, we have a high pressure alert, CPU pressure alert on one of our machines. Which one is it? It's the one we're looking at. That's probably why GitLab was a bit slow. So at the moment, this one is reporting that it's struggling, but you can query those analytics in there if you want to. And you will have full access to all this for all of your servers. Similarly, you will have Grafana. This is all, by the way, controlled with a single sign-in. So you have one Code Enigma username and password, and you can use that to access all of these services. So you'll have your own Grafana dashboard. And so in here, for example, I can go into the node export dashboard. You can install your own if you want. So this is actually currently looking at the EU Central 1 region. I'm going to go over to London, and I can pick a machine. So this is C deploy 1. And indeed, I can have a look and I can see at the moment it's working quite hard. It's a CPU memory net disk. See how much disk we've got used as well. Loads of stuff I can see in here. Memory information, all sorts of good stuff. This is also great for forensics because if we have an incident, we can go straight into here and we can see what's going on in an individual server or even in a cluster of servers. So for example, I can go check an individual application server in a cluster, or I can check the whole cluster. We also have something called Alert Manager, which couples into Prometheus. And here we can see over in Prometheus, we had our high pressure alert going on here. With an Alert Manager, that's firing. So in a situation where this actually had rules to deliver that to people, then that would actually be going out. We have a black hole rule because we actually have centralized monitoring, so we don't want to receive the message twice. So we black hole our local alert manager messages. But you could, for example, have an engineering team that wants to be alerted when certain things happen. You could have a development team that wants to be alerted when certain things happen. You can completely control your alert manager because that's unique to you. So each customer has Prometheus, Grafana, and Alert Manager, all their own. If you are using AWS, then we have some cool stuff going on in there as well. So we will actually ship all of your server logs and your container logs into CloudWatch for you. So if I go and look at, say, for example, our dev Matamo server, I can do things like tail the logs in real time from within my AWS console, which is quite cool. So actually, I can get all of this stuff in here as well. That gets shipped to Grafana too. But if you prefer to just work within AWS, you can do that, and we'll configure things so that everything's accessible. And we have some like handy ready-made queries for getting interesting graphs out of things like Nginx access logs and things like that. So you can see as the logs come in, we can see those, and they're all nicely grouped as well. So if I want specifically network logs or specifically cron logs or something like that, then I can go into that particular log stream and just tail that or just search that. And then, of course, we've got all the dashboard stuff that AWS provide out of the box, and the ability to make your own custom dashboards. So some people have their own custom dashboards or a dashboard per cluster or whatever. So you get that really good kind of heads-up display within AWS. We also manage a whole load of other tools around your AWS instances. So, for example, thanks to our automation, whenever we create a new server, it comes up, it's automatically shipping its log to CloudWatch. The CloudWatch log groups get created automatically, and things like the session manager get installed. So if I've lost SSH access for any reason or something like that, I can just hop into session manager and I can get on the server that way. As you can see, we've got quite strict firewalling going on, even at a machine level, though we also manage all of the firewalling for you on your behalf in AWS itself. So things like security groups and all of that, and the VPC management, that's all done by us. We run antivirus as standard. We also run Rootkit Hunter, but one of the things that we're quite pleased with is Wazuh, which is actually based on a piece of software called OSSec. And OSSec actually is an intrusion protection system. So it automatically responds to attacks that are happening across your estate. So for example, if somebody does a brute force on one server in our estate, what Wazuh can do is it can block that IP or that set of IP addresses across the entire estate, so that that person cannot attack any other of our infrastructure. And you can set all the rules for how jumpy that is or otherwise. And it has nice things like it can actually match attacks to possible known MITRE vulnerabilities and stuff like that. And it can do that by server, by type of threat, and so on and so forth. So we've got all of these nice graphics that we review every 2 weeks, just to make sure we're not got things coming down the track that we should be aware of, or particular systemic issues where people are particularly exploiting a certain thing, or at least trying to. So yeah, That's a nice addition as well. That's also running on all the machines, and we can create reports for groups of people within this as well, if that's of interest. So yeah, that's not exhaustive, but that's a pretty good overview of the kinds of things that you get with us, with customized hosting, server management delivered by us in various environments. And you can see that it's quite a different proposition to using, say, one of the container platforms or something like that. But that was interesting.